Hey, this is Steve Haverly. Let's talk about our marriages today and see how we can make them a lot better. Whenever we talk about our marriage and wanting to make it better, the question I would ask is, how much better do you want it? What is it that you want to be better? What we usually do, though, when we ask ourselves that question or when somebody else asks us that, is we just think about this much better, okay? We have a tendency to go just a little more than we are right now. But we don't go way out there and say, I would love for it to be lavishly, excitingly, dramatically better, and name that. Now, why is that? Well, let me talk to you a little bit today about paradigms. Or if that's a crazy word that most people don't use in their everyday language, but what it is, it's like a box that we construct around our lives. And most of the time, we don't realize we're doing it. But what we do, they're very, very powerful in our lives. And most of the time, it's in a negative way. What I mean by that is we make this box that we live in. Let's say it's in your professional life. And you say, boy, I'd really like to have a raise. Let's say you make $50,000 a year and you think a big raise would be, $10,000 a year or whatever it might be for you. You can plug your own numbers into that. But the trouble is we limit ourselves because you notice I said 50 and then 10 more. That's only 20% more than you were making before, because your paradigm, your life, your little box that you've created to live in makes you believe that a fairly good raise is 20% more than you're making. When in reality, many, many people are out there around the world making $500,000 a year, $1 million a year, $5 million a year. So how does this relate to my marriage, Steve, is what you would ask. Well, that's a good point. But the same principle applies in our marriage. When we think that our marriage should be better, and I want to create a more, a loving, intimate, fun, happy relationship with my spouse, my wife, I think of just things, maybe 10%. Okay, and that's what most people do. We think of just 10, 15%, 20% better than it is now. And you don't have to put a number to it, but you get the point. We just go a little bit more because in our minds we have decided, and remember, this is all on a subconscious level. This doesn't happen in the conscious part of our mind, but down deep in our heart, in our subconscious, the part that really drives our motives and our thinking and our possibilities in our lives and what the possibilities could be in our lives, that paradigm is constructed by us, and we inadvertently fall into the paradigm, into that box, and we think when we hit the top of that box, that's it. When in reality, it's all fictitious limitations that we have constructed in our own lives. It could have been things that we were born with. It could have been things that happened to us in our past. It could have been a product of our environment, our surroundings, our coworkers, our friends, our loved ones. It's probably a lot to do with the way you were raised. It creates the boxes or the paradigms that you live in. But what I would like to implore to you today is to deconstruct, okay, tear down those walls in your life by opening yourself up to many possibilities that could happen. And within your marriage relationship, how much better could it be? Whenever you think of, well, I think in reality it could only be, it could be about this much better, that is a limitation that you're putting on yourself. Think of way above that. Shoot for the top, shoot for the stars. Make it better than you ever dreamed it could be. Start visualizing and preparing yourself to have a marriage that's that much better, okay? And when then you reach that, then you still don't have any limitations above you on that too, okay? So you see the point of what I'm trying to get to. I'd like for you and me to, in the next few days, I want you to stop and think about the paradigms in your life and the limitations that you have constructed within your own realm, whether especially in your marriage, but even in your business career, your financial life, in your physical world, what you can do physically to make your health better. I want you to begin to open up your thought patterns and processes and to begin to tear down and deconstruct the limitations and notify them, see them, identify them for what they are, and begin to look beyond those and to make your marriage, along with other parts of your life, all it can possibly be. That's the beginning part. That's the beginning where you begin to look past what you used to see as some sort of realistic limitation. And realistic is just another word for I'm afraid to go further than that. Okay? So start looking at it that way and see what happens. All right? This is Steve Haverly. Let's go out and make our marriages way more than we ever thought they could be.